Well, and think about it. Canada needs someone to step up. Sidney Crosby wasn't in the game anymore.
Team Canada in trouble after Sidney Crosby injury became a serious discussion point shortly after the quarterfinal ended. Crosby was ruled out with a lower body injury and no return timeline was provided, and his availability for the next game has yet to be confirmed.
A scary scene on the ice overseas at the 2026 Winter Olympics as Penguins captain Sidney Crosby left today's game between Canada and Czechia after taking a hard hit. Rich Walsh joins us now with the latest. Rich, what can you tell us?
Well, Christine, the one thing we don't know right now is the significance of Crosby's injury, but he is scheduled for an MRI and we are still waiting for those results. But needless to say, it's definitely something nobody in Pittsburgh wanted to see. The Pens captain leave the ice with a knee injury. It happened in the second period of Canada's quarterfinal game against Czechia.
Canada won the game. That part is done. Mitch Marner scored in overtime. The team moved on. But inside that win, something shifted. Sidney Crosby left the game with a lower body injury. He did not return. There was no update right away, no timeline, no clear sign of how serious it is. And that silence is the problem. Because this is not just another player. This is the captain, the leader, the calm voice in the biggest moments. Now the question is simple. Can Team Canada win gold without Sidney Crosby? And before you answer that, let's break down why this is bigger than it looks. First, leadership. Crosby is not just wearing a C on his jersey, he controls the bench. When the game gets wild, he slows it down. When the team is nervous, he settles them. Younger players look at him in pressure moments. The semifinal is not a normal game. It is one mistake and you are out. If Crosby cannot play, who controls that moment? Connor McDavid is a superstar, no doubt. But leadership in the Olympics is different. Crosby has done this before. He has scored the golden goal in the past. He knows how the pressure feels. That experience matters. Now think about timing. Canada just survived overtime. That game was tight. Czechia pushed them to the edge. This was not a dominant win. It was a narrow escape. And right after that scare, your captain is injured. That shakes confidence. You can win a game and still feel unstable. That is where Canada is right now. And here's the rehook. Remember the title. More terrible news for Team Canada after Sidney Crosby injury. The terrible news is not just the injury. It is what comes next. Line changes. Crosby plays top-line center minutes. That means ice time must shift. Chemistry changes. Wingers adjust. Face-off roles move around. Crosby is one of the best in key face-offs, defensive zone draws, late-game situations, power play setups. You cannot replace that with one quick switch. Now imagine this happens before a semifinal. There is very little practice time, very little adjustment time. That is pressure. And pressure shows weaknesses. Let's talk about the power play. Crosby anchors a unit that controls space and puck movement. He sees plays early. He reads defenders. Without him, that structure shifts. Maybe it still works, maybe it doesn't. But in Olympic hockey, one failed power play can cost you a medal. Now here's another layer. Opponents are watching. If Canada faces a top rival next, they will attack the middle. They will pressure replacement centers. They will test chemistry early. Why? Because when a captain goes down, there is usually a short window of confusion. And smart teams attack during confusion. That is why this injury is not small. It is strategic. Now let's ask the real question. Will Crosby play? There has been no firm update, no confirmed return date. That uncertainty creates tension inside the locker room. If he is questionable, the team must prepare two plans. One with him, one without him. That splits focus. And in Olympic play, split focus can cost you everything. Rehook again. Canada survived overtime, but did that win cost them their leader? Because if Crosby misses the semifinal, this becomes Connor McDavid's team fully. McDavid can carry offense, he can drive speed, he can change a game in seconds. But this is not just about skill, it is about control. Crosby controls chaos. McDavid creates chaos. That is a different dynamic. And when you are one game away from the gold medal match, control is everything. Now let's look at momentum. Momentum is fragile. Canada barely escaped Czechia. That already raised questions about defensive gaps and late-game structure. Add an injured captain to that. Suddenly, the narrative shifts. Instead of Canada looks unstoppable, it becomes, is Canada vulnerable? That shift matters. Media talks about it. Players hear it. Opponents feel it. And Olympic tournaments are short. There is no time to rebuild momentum slowly. You either stay steady or you fall. Now here is another cliffhanger. What if Crosby tries to play through it? Lower body injuries are risky. If he plays limited minutes, does that hurt the lineup flow? If he sits partially, does that disrupt rotations? Sometimes a half-healthy captain creates even more problems. That decision will define this tournament. Coaches must weigh leadership versus risk, and that decision may already be happening behind closed doors. So what is the value angle here? This moment reveals how deep Canada truly is. If depth centers step up, if special teams stay sharp, if McDavid embraces full command, Canada proves they are built for adversity. But if structure breaks under pressure, this injury becomes the turning point of the Olympics. And remember, Olympic hockey is single elimination now. There is no recovery game. One bad night without your captain ends the gold dream. That is why this is more than injury news. It is a stability test. Team Canada is not just fighting opponents anymore. They are fighting uncertainty. And uncertainty is dangerous in tournament hockey. Let's bring it back one more time. Team Canada in trouble after Sidney Crosby injury? Right now, the answer is not clear, but the risk is real. If Crosby returns strong, this becomes a rally story, a captain leading through pain, a team united. If he cannot go, this becomes the biggest challenge Canada faces in this tournament. And the semifinal will reveal everything. Canada escaped elimination. Now they must prove they did not lose their foundation in the process. Gold medal hopes are still alive. But without Sidney Crosby, the margin for error just got smaller. Much smaller. And the next game will tell us whether this was just a scare or the moment everything changed.